So let's move on to HEP number 2, active learning. So evidence has shown that learners learn best when they are active rather than immersed in passive content consumption. So learners should be participating in hands-on activities with lots of opportunities to discuss and apply the material with their peers and plenty of opportunities to test and demonstrate their learning. In fact, a recent piece of meta-analysis research led by Scott Freeman and some of his colleagues conducted in 2014 found that active learning increases student performance in STEM subjects by about 6% in active learning scenarios, where the learners in the class that had traditional lecturing were 1.5 times more likely to fail than the learners in the class with active learning. So a really strong evidence for using active learning. And there are a few approaches that we are going to touch on in this section. So we're going to look at practice and context, stories and examples, challenging and complex, and deliberate practice. And this is by no means an exhaustive list, but it provides a good grounding for you. So the most important thing to remember is that learners should be doing something throughout your sessions. So even if they're watching a content video, they don't need to be passive. They can be thinking about probing questions or taking notes, or if it's an interactive video, then they could be answering check for understanding questions or surveys throughout the short video. But we'll start with authentic practice and context. And evidence has shown that learners learn best when the knowledge and the skills that are presented in practice in real or as close to real context as possible is much more effective. And in many programs, there might be a compelling argument for field work, workplace application, placements or internships, or for working on real complex challenges from their own life or work experiences. And evidence has also shown that we can facilitate learning more effectively by using stories and concrete examples to help bring that active learning to life, where it really helps students learn and retain complex information. The human mind is naturally adept at remembering stories, so while examples make abstract ideas concrete, it's possible to present case studies and real-world problems with the narrative arc of a story, making them more engaging and memorable. And it's worth noting that learners also learn best when activities and content progress from simple to complex at an appropriate level of challenge. In learning design, this is known as challenging and complex. And you can achieve this by providing content and a course overview for learners that shows them where they're going and continually interleaving concepts and skills throughout their journey, so they get a chance to build on these and develop them to mastery. And this can be week on week as well as year on year. And evidence also shows us that deliberate practice, which uses mindful, careful, planned and repeated practice with feedback, is highly effective. It's the opposite of mindless repetition. And you can achieve this by creating a learning cycle, providing immediate feedback, ensuring variation in exercises by regular retrieval practices and interleaving. So the top takeaways for your active learning is really focus your lessons and activities around the students being active and hands-on. Provide in and out class opportunities to discuss and apply the material. Create regular opportunities for learners to demonstrate their learning in authentic contexts, and enhance your active lessons with stories and concrete examples to help concepts stick. And really make sure learners are being challenged in their activities and provide opportunities for distributed and deliberate practice. So feel free to look in more detail at any of the aspects raised here, either in the section below or in the suggested further reading. And also have a look at the truly engaging column in the active learning rubric below. How could you make your lessons more active?